the mighty and resilient Merrimack River, carving through the communities of our great region. My name is Linda Lorden, proud president of Merrimack County Savings Bank, and like the river that serves as our namesake, we're a constant yet ever-changing presence. Because to us, it's bigger than banking. It's about powering communities and putting people first. It's about knowing where you came from and where you're going. That's Merrimack style. Visit us at themerrimack.com.
Hey, it's Kim Komando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to komando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it.
Okay, I saw this on Facebook. It happened in Gulfport, Mississippi. A police officer was off duty, and then he gets this random text saying, "Hey, what are you up to?" And then the cop replies, "Chillin', HBU," assuming it was somebody who he actually knew. Well, the next message said, "Want to smoke?" Okay. The cop responded, I don't think I'm going to be able to smoke with you." But then the person insisted, "Bro, we smoke all the time. What's up?" Well, that's when the officer sent a picture of himself holding his badge, adding, "No cap." Oh, man. Oh, you know what they say? Smoking will kill you. Bacon will kill you too. But smoking bacon will cure it. Yes, and on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Kim Komando Show, because after all, I'm America's digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts. And let me tell you, if you are not tech ahead, you will be left tech behind. Now, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for My Last Name Komando. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. Listen wherever, whenever you want. Just search for My Last Name Komando with a K, of course, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, great sponsors help to make this show possible. Let me tell you, I always negotiate these exclusive money-saving deals with them. So to see all the deals and get the links that you need and the promo codes, I just go to one spot. That's komando.com/sponsors. Alrighty, then every single day, whether it's a weekend, a work day, a national holiday, you can count on me to go to at least 35, 40 different websites to make sure that you and I know exactly what's happening in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that are happening you need to know about. And we're going to start with internet influencers. Okay, if you are one of the 10 of millions of wannabes, and if you're buying fake likes and followers, wow, huge warning, your time's up. You see, buying fake followers is deceptive, it's misleading. It never really helps a small-time influencer grow, because they come and go, because as you buy these followers, the service gets wind of it and then they wipe them out. And when legitimate advertisers and businesses find out, and they do every time, you're not going to regain the trust. So the problem is rampant. And not just with influencers, but with certain brands notorious for posting these glowing but fake reviews of their products on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even Amazon. So finally, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission is coming after these influencers, businesses, and literally everyone deceiving the public with these fake followers, bots, and subscribers, and views, and likes. And so look for some big fines and maybe even some hard time. All right, moving on to this at number 2, parents, you really need to know what Disney is doing, because Disney just can't seem to learn a lesson. First, it went woke, and while it didn't go broke, the number of park visitors really dropped. Now, Disney management has made the Disney Plus app a dangerous place for our young children. We want to trust Disney. Why it's abusing that trust is beyond imagination, no pun intended. So how could Disney even think that adding Hulu shows and movies to Disney Plus would be a good idea? What was once a safe world of family-friendly movies has now been degraded with PG-13, and R-rated titles. It's not sexual material yet, but remember, Handmaid's Tale is a Hulu product. So is Deadpool, Logan, Aliens, which they're promoting big time, along with the American Horror Story and Shogun. Now, you might not think that using a streaming app is like being online, but it is. And if you don't watch what the kids are watching, no one else will. Moving on to this at number 3, Rosalind McSweeney in Chicago moved into her new neighborhood last year, and she was liking her spot until things got a little weird this past week. First, a guy knocked on her door saying, "Hey, is this house for rent?" Okay, she thought, well, this is kind of different. Then another couple showed up. The next day, even more people showed up. It turns out her house was being used in a rental scam on Facebook Marketplace, claiming that they were renting out her place for only $1,700 a month. Now, the scammer used photos from the original real estate listing, even made a convincing virtual tour. They called themselves Diego and told people that the current residents, Rosaline and her family, wouldn't be moving out until mid-August. He said, "Oh, just stop by, check out the neighborhood," making it seem legit. Well, how did Diego make money? Yeah, he asked for a $50 application fee for each person in the household, paid upfront through Zelle or PayPal. So Rosaline reported the listing to Facebook. They took it down, but guess what? It popped up twice again. Man, so you got to be careful if you're looking for a rental property, not just on Facebook Marketplace, anywhere. Over in San Francisco, coming in at number 4, they are fed up with a fleet of identical white driverless cars crisscrossing intersections, breaking down, delivering passengers to the wrong addresses, and constantly honking at everything that goes by. Now, before you say, "Oh, that's a San Francisco problem, Kim Commando, it doesn't affect me." Well, this is exactly what Waymo, the self-driving taxi company, has planned for every single city in America. Now, they've been operating in my hometown, Phoenix, Arizona, for a long time. And now they're showing up in other cities, too, including Atlanta. Dropping people off at the wrong address is pretty common. And when it happens, there's no one to fix the problem. So right or wrong, when the thing stops, you have to get out. So you have to know that there's no sense in complaining because Waymo is owned by Alphabet. Yeah, Google's owner. Go ahead. Try to find somebody there. And finally, this coming in at number 5. What would Jesus think if he read your social media posts? Nope, I'm not going to launch into a sermon, but it's an interesting question that has been asked by the Church of England. Okay, here in America, the Episcopalians are the first cousins to the Church of England. With that said, here's what the church had to say about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, and all the rest. Social media is the wide open doorway to cruelty, ignorance, stupidity, racism, sexual abuse, traumatization, a viral sense of despondency, tribalism. It goes on, high levels of distrust, lack of accountability, and general incompetence. Notice there were nothing positive in any of that. After years of research, study, and interviews, the church truly had nothing good to say about social media on any level. So then, would Jesus be happy at what he would see on your TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X? Interesting thoughts as you post. All right, coming up, we have some must-do tips when you take your car in for repair, some signs that your spouse may be cheating on you, and how to send an email to your future self, and how to protect your kids with something called Name Drop. And of course, we have all of your fantastic phone calls you don't want to miss. And you have me, Kim Commando.
There's a reason people call Myrtle Beach the beach, because here you become your best self. You can speed up, slow down, and make waves even on land. You belong at the beach. Start planning at visitmyrtlebeach.com.
Hey, how'd you like to win a brand new iPhone 16 valued at up to $1,500? Yeah, I mean, you could be the cool kid on the block with the first iPhone 16. Everybody like, whoa, how'd you get that? And you can say, you know what? I won it. I got it for free. All I did is I went to winfromkim.com and I gave her my email address, and you can trust Kim Commando because you can trust me. That's winfromkim.com. I'm not going to sell, lease, distribute your email address to anybody ever. Once again, to enter to win a brand new iPhone 16, you have to hurry because this contest is going to be over soon. You want to go to winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com. All righty then, let's get started with all of your phone calls. Earl in Chicago, Illinois. Hi there, Earl.
Hi, Kim.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me on. Hey, I have a question about my daughter asked me to officiate her wedding, and it's going to take place in about a month. And I've never done that before, and I'm just worried about, I'm worried about slipping up a little bit here and there, and I just want to have something that can keep me on track.
Well, you can always put what you're going to say as bullets inside on an iPad. You can use a teleprompter app, and that will automatically scroll to what you're saying. I mean, it has voice recognition now, so it's actually pretty cool. You can adjust the font so you can be close or too far. So how do you think that you would work best? Do you think that you would work best with bullets or with an actual script?
I think I need an actual script, and I was actually, teleprompter type of application would be, I think, what I'm looking for. Something that it would follow me, like you said, the voice recognition would follow me. It would give me the ability to kind of read off of it and step away from it a little bit, that I can look back easily and find my place in case I get lost a little bit in there.
Now, is the wedding outside or inside?
It is going to be on a rooftop, more than like weather permitting. Let's put it that way.
And then at sunset during the day, what time?
Late afternoon.
Okay. What I'm concerned about is direct sunlight hitting the iPad. That's what I'm concerned about. Because it's not hard to do, to put something around it, like a little kind of like a cover, so that this way it would be shaded. So what you do is you're going to buy an iPad stand that goes basically from the floor to your reading level, whatever that may be. You can cover that in flowers, and so it's not going to be like, oh, here it is. Or you can make it lower so it'd be even below, say, their waist, so that this way it's not going to appear in the photos. But then, use a teleprompter app. There's several out there. Prompt Smart Pro is one that I've checked out myself. I also have used Teleprompter Pro. And the nice thing about that is you can try them free for, a couple of days, but you will know within the first, I would say, couple of minutes actually using this to say whether or not this is something good for you to do. Now don't forget, technology fails, right? So I would still have good old index cards in my pocket just to be on the safe side, right?
Sounds good. And the question I have on the teleprompter is, I've looked up a few of them, and there are a few that are only online. You have to be connected. You have to have a connection. Yeah, you don't want those. Either Wi-Fi. I want to stay away from that. Yeah, okay.
Because you're adding one more element to it. Now, depending upon the venue, I did a keynote speech for the National Association of Broadcasters a couple of years ago, and I have not the best eyesight, to let you know. I mean, I had a cornea transplant about a year ago, so things are on the upside. But this venue was able to give me a teleprompter, which is pretty much what you're seeing at the political conventions right now, is that the prompter's in the back of the room. And there's nothing in front of the person when the person's actually speaking, as much as there's a screen way in the back, and that is running your speech. Now, you might want to just see if you could rent one of those. Ask the venue if that's a possibility, because then what we're doing, we're not worrying about an iPad, we're not worrying about a stand. You're going to be looking at the couple left and right and left, as you're doing their vows. But then behind all the guests, way in the back, there's going to be a screen that's going to be showing your speech.
Okay.
And because I'll tell you, if I had to do it and I wanted to have a word for word, speech prepared for this wedding, and knowing that this is my daughter's, probably, hopefully, the biggest day of her life as she starts a new future and all that other great stuff, is that I would look at trying to rent a professional teleprompter that, again, is behind all the guests, and it's big enough for you to read, and it gives you the time to look down, look up. Then you also have somebody who will run that teleprompter for you, so you can focus on the moment and not focus on, oh my gosh, did I lose my place on my iPad? Because that's also going to be very distracting. Now, of course, you could try to memorize the speech if you wanted to, and then just have index cards as references, or even just put, your phone up with some references. But if you're looking for a speech where like word for word, it's going to be there, take a look and see what you can rent on a professional level. They used to be super expensive, but they're not anymore. Okay, Monica in Phoenix, Arizona, you're up next.
Hi, Kim.
Welcome. What's going on?
Well, I have some concert tickets that I've been trying to resell, and I posted them on Craigslist, and immediately I got 2 text messages from 2 people just rapidly asking questions and asking me to do a code, back to them to identify that it's safe. But one of them asked me to do a screenshot of the QR code to verify it's a valid ticket. And
no.
Yeah, and And I was very suspicious about it. And especially, I was like, this is like timeshare vultures, coming after you. And so I didn't trust it. I don't like being overwhelmed. That's what it was. So anyway, I wanted to know what you had to say about it.
You could send them a screenshot, but you could block out the QR code and the ticket number. Then the buyer could verify the tickets are legit without having access. But you're right. Once you give them the QR code, all they have to do is just put it in their phone and then beat you to, or whoever you sell the tickets to. And then, yes, they're sitting there jamming out like it's 1999, right?
Oh, okay. All right.
So if you are looking to sell some tickets and you don't want, as you said, a lot of the headaches and the stress, there's two sites. One's called StubHub and the other one's called SeatGeek.
Yeah.
And they have buyer and seller protection and to make sure that the transactions are secure, they're legit. StubHub is going to charge you a 15% fee for each ticket. And then SeatGeek is 10 to 20% of the ticket price. Another thing that you could do is that if you are going to sell these on social or on Craigslist or OfferUp or wherever you're going to sell these things, is that you want to ask the buyer to meet you in person. Okay. And now what's happening is that you can meet at police stations and make sure that you bring somebody else with you just in case.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
This way you exchange the tickets for the money. You can also use PayPal that offers buyer and seller protection. But if these are tickets and you're in Phoenix, they're in Phoenix, I would prefer if you did it in a pub where you actually met the person, say at a police station. Make sure that you bring a friend. So this way they can give you the cash and you take the cash and then you give them the tickets and then you don't have to worry about getting scammed and then losing out on that sale and then also getting taken. There are just so many scammers in the world. It's just crazy. Monica, thank you so much for your call. It reminds me of a really bad joke. It does. Are you ready? Okay. I'm telling you right now, it's a bad joke, but I know some of you are going to laugh at it. Are you ready? Why didn't Bach attend Vivaldi's concert? Okay, why didn't Bach attend Vivaldi's concert? You ready? Oh, I know. This is even hard for me to say. He was Baroque. Oh, yes. All right. Hey, Apple's iOS has a feature called Name Drop. It's been there since iOS 17. It lets you share your contact info by just bringing two iPhones close together. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that it's on by default. So parents, this is a warning out to you. Police departments all across the country are sounding the alarm about name drop safety implications, really for kids. Okay, it just makes it super easy to share a name, a photo, a phone number, an email address with someone nearby. Okay. While you do have to approve the transfer of the contact info between the devices, it still can be pretty risky. I mean, imagine how some creep could use this. So here's what I want you to do. Grab your iPhone, dive into the settings, hit General, and then AirDrop. You'll see something that says Bringing Devices Together. You want to toggle off Name Drop. Okay, again, that's Bringing Devices Together, toggle off Name Drop. It's a simple switch that can give you peace of mind. And speaking of iPhones, we have brand new Pixel phones that were just released this past week. And I'll tell you, they look pretty darn good. But just keep in mind that you may have to pay $20 a month to use Gemini AI. Now, coming in about a month, probably even less than that, we have the brand new iPhone 16. So whatever you can do, if you cannot buy a new phone right now, please just save your money. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show.
There's a reason people call Myrtle Beach the beach, because here you become your best self. You can speed up, slow down, and make waves even on land. You belong at the beach. Start planning at visitmyrtlebeach.com.
I seem to be getting this question a lot. I mean, how can I tell if my spouse, my partner is cheating on me? How can I tell me? What should I be looking for in their devices? All right, coming up, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you 5 signs that your spouse may be cheating on you, okay? Of course, a good old conversation should happen first, but in case you want to look, I'm going to tell you where you can look on these devices. And before we get to that and all of your phone calls, it's always a great moment to take a breather and then look back on your life. Reflect on where you are, what you have done, where you're headed. Now, you can take this one step further. If you wanted to, you could write down all your hopes and dreams in an email and then send it to your future self. I mean, I did this a few years ago, and reading that email, it was an eye-opener. I jotted down my goals, a snapshot of my life at that moment, and it's super easy to do. You can use services like futureme.org. They make it straightforward. They let you choose when you want to receive your email, months or even years later, and you can also do it yourself. Now, if you don't want to use a service like futureme.org, you can just use Gmail, Outlook, or any other email service that allows scheduling. Just write down your thoughts, schedule for a future date, or just save it and then set a calendar reminder to revisit. It's a great way to see how far you've come in life. Really, it is. Let's see, Bonnie in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Ooh, this doesn't look like a happy story.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
Great. What's going on?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for all that you do. I'm a big listener. I read your newsletter. I listen to your podcast and on the radio when I can. So thank you for all you do.
Oh, you're sweet.
It's a really tough world out there with all the scams that are going on. And one that happened to me, the reason I contacted you is because I was really puzzled by what happened to me. A couple of weeks ago, I was working. I'm a virtual assistant, so I'm at my computer all the time. Mm-hmm. But I was sitting here, and all of a sudden, all these emails came in, like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I thought, okay, my email's being hacked. Something's being hacked somewhere. And I'm sitting here going, stop. And it wasn't stopping. And so then I saw one that came in that was a receipt from Square. Okay. For $2,450. And I thought, uh-oh. And so I called my credit card company and got the credit card blocked. I looked at the email further, and I had purchased equipment from a company near me about 3 hours from where I live. And the name and the address and the zip code, everything was on there. So it looked like a legitimate receipt from Square. Mm-hmm. And so I went onto the web and looked for the company on the web, called their number to see if I could talk with someone in their accounting or billing to see if they somehow mischarged me for something, didn't get anyone, waited until the afternoon, made sure my credit card was blocked. I mean, they had to block it while I was watching this in real time. So they did their diligence and did that, which I was very happy about. And so I called back again, the equipment company. This company, a gentleman who owned the company answered the phone, and he told me they used to make equipment for machines that made paper bags. Okay. So he said, but no, we don't do that anymore. We just sell parts. We don't even take credit cards. So I was wondering, okay, how did my credit card get out there? And how did they connect it with someone close to me and the address? What are they doing to do this sophisticated stuff?
All of the above. Okay. You were subject to what's called a carding attack. Basically, they're going to flood you with just a slew of emails to make you panic, freak out, what's going on, and then slip in a transaction along the side that could be legit or illegitimate in an attempt to steal from you, or in an attempt for you to call them up and say, I didn't order this. And they're like, oh, you didn't order this? Here, well, here, just stay on the line a little bit so that we can make sure that nobody is going to be using your credit card again, whatever it may be. They come up with some phony baloney story, right? And so, but you did the right thing. I mean, you're like, okay, I didn't charge this, and I'm going to put a stop on the credit card. But it's all an attempt to steal from you. It's all an attempt to make you, as I said, distracted, freak out, create a sense of urgency. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting confused. And I'm just going to turn off my computer, or I'm going to try to figure out what's happening. I'm going to call the phone number in there to see what's happening. It's a clever disguise scam when you think about it. I mean, it's, they have to put some thought behind these things now, because, the days of the old Nigerian prince, those are way long gone, way long gone,
I remember those.
And you could spot those a mile away, but now it's really, really difficult, because they will even set up fake Google businesses on Google Maps. And so then when you go, it looks like it's a legit storefront. or maybe it's a warehouse. It's an office building, and they're in suite 200 or 700, but there's no seventh floor. I mean, and so that's why it's really important to be smart like you. I mean, to sit back and to take a deep breath and say, okay, what exactly is going on? Does this mean that I've been hacked? No. Does this mean that they have my credit card details? Yes, obviously. Where did they get them from? Who knows? But that's why it's so important that you set up alerts on your credit cards. Anytime that there's a transaction that happens on your credit card where the card is not present, you need to get a text and an email. I do. Okay. You can set that to be if it's over $50, $500, whatever it may be. And yes, does it get annoying? You betcha, especially when you share a credit card with a couple of people in your family, and every time you turn around, you're getting a text or an email because the card was not present, because we're not going to brick and mortar stores anymore. You have to look at your credit card statements. And by all means, please get rid of the debit cards. I hear from so many people whose debit card numbers are compromised and then their accounts are just wiped out. Just nutso. Bonnie, thank you so much for all your kind words about the show and the newsletters. We have a great team here, and it's nice to know that we're appreciated. Gosh, there are just so many scams out there right now. Oh my gosh, the gold bar scam. I don't understand how you guys and gals are falling for somebody telling you that your bank account is in jeopardy and you need to take all your money out of the bank and go buy gold bars and then wrap them in an old iPhone box and leave it under a tree in a park. Okay. It's just nuts. If you have an older adult in your family, make sure that you really are aware of what they're doing and talk to them about these scams, that they happen, and they just have to be super smart to avoid them and get taken. All right, for most people, a trip to the mechanic is just pretty routine. You're going to rotate the tires, maybe get an update on the onboard computer, or maybe change the oil. But this guy, Mason Berger's experience was different. That's why I wanted to pass it along. He took his BMW to a repair shop for just a tune-up. But when he got his car back, it was all wrong. I mean, his stereo was turned up loudly. He checked the dash cam, and then what he discovered could have been straight out of those movies, The Fast and Furious. You see, the mechanic cranked up the tune so loudly that it damaged the stereo. And then he took the car for a spin. He sailed through 2 red lights. Then he hit a speed of 113 miles per hour on the highway. After an hour and a half of joyriding, he returned the car back to the shop. So the next time you drop your car off at the mechanic, I want you to take a picture of the mileage, video the entire car inside and out, just in case there's any damage. Also turn on a dash cam and put an air tag in the car too. So this way you have proof, and if your car leaves the repair shop, you're going to get an automatic alert. All right, still to come, some signs that your spouse may be cheating on you, as well as more of your phone calls here on The Kim Komando Show.
There's a reason people call Myrtle Beach the beach, because here you become your best self. You can speed up, slow down, and make waves even on land. You belong at the beach. Start planning at visitmyrtlebeach.com.
All right, let's see. Ricky in Wilmington, South Carolina. Hi there, Ricky.
Hey, Kim. What a pleasure to speak with you. Love listening to you, and your daily emails are so helpful. So thank you so much for that. Don't really have a huge dilemma, but I would like to remote in to my work computer when I'm on vacation. I know I'm supposed to take it easy. But,
I was just going to say, what part of like work computer and vacation? It's not supposed to be in the same sentence, okay?
I know it. But sometimes it's peace of mind, just to be able to check in briefly. And I have a wonderful assistant who occasionally has to miss work because she has a non-speaking autistic daughter. Mm-hmm. And she wants to do the same thing. She wants to be able to stay current with what she's doing and maybe not miss as many hours as she has to sometimes. So do you know of any safe, secure options for remoting in?
Well, for sure, because we have on staff, I like to refer to him as our IT genius, John. Okay, John is amazing. Okay, everybody should have John in their lives. I mean, he's just, he's kind, he's patient. And, unlike a lot of IT people, I'm going to very general terms, don't get mad at me. If you're in IT, I mean, I'm a geek of the week too, so I can say this. is that a lot of IT folks, they don't have good communication skills. You know what I mean? They can be a bit abrupt in their conversations. Okay.
Exactly.
So when John uses something in particular, I'm always like, John, what are you using? And he's also very critical. So for John to decide and use a product, I'm like, okay, it must be really good. So there's one in particular that he uses for remote access because when things are not working at my house, of course, I'm going to ask John to, jump on and try to fix it. He also has to jump on, certain team members here on their computers to make sure that, they're all up to date and good things like that. He uses TeamViewer. And so TeamViewer can be configured for remote access. Some other things that you want to keep in mind is just because you're going to be using your email address for the remote access, just be sure that email address is super locked down because you want to make sure that they don't have access to other things, right? I mean, having access to your Gmail account is one thing, but having access to your work computer could really be a big disruptor on so many different levels, right? Okay.
Exactly, yes.
So TeamViewer or AnyDesk, both are free programs, by the way, TeamViewer or AnyDesk. And now, keep in mind, you're on vacation, so promise me you're going to have some drinks with little umbrellas.
You bet I will. You know it, Kim.
Right. Awesome. Well, thanks for your call today, Ricky, and have a great, safe trip. You got it.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Kim.
Up next, Barry in Ozark, Missouri. Hi there, Barry.
Ozark, Misery.
So, what's going on?
Well, with the TikTok adventure, considering Chinese spyware and so forth, I've kind of had a long concern about our thumb drives as to whether those that are made in China might contain spyware, malware that we just have not been able to detect up to this point.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why are you still using thumb drives?
I know that's old technology, but I still use it to store a lot of things, pictures. I don't know. It just, you kind of get stuck in some things. And I'm not really trustworthy of the cloud.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why, that thumb drives, they don't have a really good rep for lasting a long time. That's my concern. Because I never want to put anything super duper important on a thumb drive. And the cloud is okay. But let's talk about these Chinese things that's going on. You're right. TikTok is a direct link to communist China. And they are tracking everything on about 150 million Americans are using TikTok right now, which I just think is crazy. And there are certain brands, there are certain Chinese brands that the U.S. government has banned for people in the military because of security problems. Like, for example, there's Huawei. They make phones, a whole bunch of other electronics. They're not allowed to be used. ZTE. DJI is a big drone manufacturer, and they are a Chinese company, and they've been banned from use. Lenovo is a global brand, but it's also a Chinese company that, those products are also not authorized for use by the U.S. military. So it's hard to really say what could be on this thumb drive. And so if you want to really make sure that this thumb drive is protected, is that you put certain encryption features onto this thumb drive to protect your data. But it's really... the cloud is really safe, Bear. I wouldn't worry about that. If you could put everything up into a Google Drive, I think that would be phenomenal. You'd have Google Photos, and like I said, you have Google Drive, because they offer encryption and security features that will protect your data. And then you can also access your files from anywhere you are, as long as you have an internet connection. You don't have to worry about a thumb drive being lost, stolen, stepped on, or what have you. But if you do want to encrypt it, we've got the programs over at commando.com. You can do a program like 7-Zip that will encrypt those files on the thumb drive, but you can also format the thumb drive to see if there was anything on there that would be hasta la vista, baby. But I think your best bet is to start thinking about getting stuff up in the cloud. And if you need some help with that, we've got all kinds of tutorials and step-by-steps over on the website. And Barry, thank you so much for your call. Hey, if you're ever too shy to give me a call, here on the show because you're like, oh, I don't know when to talk in front of all those people, Kim. Okay, I just want to have a one-on-one conversation with you. Okay, we can do that. And you can also schedule a time to speak with me. And the best way to do that is go to commando.com. And then there's a link at the top that says Ask Kim. And I read every single note that you send me. Once again, that's commando.com with a K, and hit that Ask Kim button. Okay, if you think that your spouse is cheating on you, you're probably constantly doubting yourself, questioning whether or not you can trust your partner. And then you're saying like, well, how can I find some digital proof? Okay, I'm not a doctor of love, but when it comes to tech, I know where to look. First of all, pay attention to any increased secrecy surrounding your partner's devices. I mean, if they suddenly become overly possessive about their phone, it's definitely a huge red flag. Also, keep a lookout for any unusual changes in your spouse's online behavior. I mean, are they suddenly not going to Facebook as much? Or maybe they're hanging out on TikTok. Or maybe this is something they're using Google Docs a lot in the iPhone's Notes app. Yeah, these sudden shifts in their online habits could be something that you really need to pay attention to. Also, be suspicious of any deleted text messages, but really look for any new documents and notes, because here's a new trend. Lovers are often sharing secret conversations and pictures using Google Docs or something like that, or Dropbox or an iPhone Notes app. And so if you suddenly see a lot of usage with that, you're like, I wonder what's there. Hey, if you want to win that brand new iPhone 16 valued at up to $1,500, you got to enter to win. And here's how to do it. Go to winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.